Right, so let's differentiate with respect to x. And I'm going to do number 47 first, and then I'll do number 48 in another video. So basically, to differentiate something like a to the power n, what you do is you take the n, in fact, this becomes ddx, which is the sign that you are going to differentiate. A to the power n is equal to, you take the n and multiply it by the a, and then you subtract a 1 from the n, and that's it. So if you've got x to the power 7, you're going to take the 7 and multiply it by x, so that becomes 7x. Then the 7, you take away 1, so the answer is 7x to the power of 6. That is the answer to the first part. But let me do them properly down here. So I'm going to open this page. Just going to add a page here. And the first one was, what was it? X to the power 7. So 47 part 1 is x to the power 7. So number 47 part 1 is x to the power 7. So I will write the differential of x to the power 7 with respect to x is equal to 7x to the power 6. That's the first one. Second one is x to the power minus 5. So the second part is x to the power minus 5, is it? Minus 1/5. Minus 1/5. X to the power minus 1/5. Right, I need to write this one properly. X to the power minus 1/5, which means we're going to multiply. If we say that becomes ddx of x to the power minus 1/5 is minus 1/5 because we multiply by the power, and then we put the x, and then we say minus 1/5 minus 1, which is the same as minus 1/5 minus 5/5, because 1 is the same as 5/5. So that becomes minus 1 minus 5 is minus 6/5. So this is to the power minus 6/5. So be careful when you write the power and it's a fraction. It has to show that you've got the x and then the power is right there. So you've got to be careful with that. And that's a 1/5. And it's a negative because this was minus 1/5. So that's the third one. The second one. The third one is 2x to the power 1/3. So 2x to the power 1/3. I'm going to change the color so that they don't seem to be competing for space. So this is 2x to the power 1/3, and it's number 3, or part 3. So again, you're going to do ddx of 2x to the power 1/3, which becomes 2 times 1/3 x to the power, then you do 1/3 minus 1, which is the same as 1/3 minus 3/3, which is minus 2/3. So to the power minus 2/3, and that's it. That's this one done. Then let's see part 4. I'm going to change that to black again. Part 4. Well, it's part 2. The numbering doesn't matter, but it's half root x. So we're doing half root x, which is half root x. So all this was part 1, them 3. Okay, so it's like this: the first one, the second one, and the third one. and I just remove that. And that's part 2 actually. So this is part 2 according to the numbering there. It's always good to be consistent with the numbering. So it's half root x, which means it's ddx, and you can change to make life easier. You can change the root x to half x to the power half. So you're doing ddx of half x to the power half. So you're gonna multiply by the half, by the power, which is the half, then x to the power half minus 1. And half minus 1 is the same as half minus 2 over 2, which is minus half. So the answer here is 1 over 4, because 1 half times 1 half is 1/4. X to the power minus half. Okay, you can leave it like this, or you can rewrite it as, this can be rewritten as 1/4 times 1 over x to the power half, or simply 1 over 4 root x, in case you see that answer in some answer somewhere. And this one also, let me use red or pink, could be written as 2/3, right, times 1 over x to the power 2/3. And x to the power 2/3, okay, is the same as, so x to the power 2/3 is the same as x, or the same as cube root of x squared. So you might find in an answer booklet somewhere, you might find the answer 2 divided by 3 cube root of x squared. You might find that and wonder if it's different from this one. It's exactly the same. Not that one, but this one here. And this one could be written as minus 1/5 times 1 over x to the power 6/5 becomes positive, which is the same as, I'm going to remove this to make space, which is the same as minus 1 over 5 times 1 over the 5th root of x to the power 6. So this is going to be the same as that. Okay. So there is the second part. So we need to look at the next question, which is cube root of x. So the next one is just cube root. Let's put a star for the next one. Just want the cube root of x. By the way, cube root of x is the same as x to the power 1/3. And you know it's x to the power 1/3 because if it was just root x, okay, there is an invisible 1 here and an invisible 2. So this becomes x to the power half, because the 2 becomes the denominator and the 1 becomes the numerator. So for this one, for example, there's an invisible 1 there as well, and the 1 becomes the numerator and the 3 becomes the denominator. So having done that, we find ddx of x to the power 1/3. We multiply by the power, which is 1/3, then x to the power 1/3 minus 1, and 1/3 minus 1 is same as 1/3 minus 3/3, which is minus 2/3. So the answer is 1/3 x to the power minus 2/3. And I think there's one more. It's half square root of x cubed. So 1/2 square root of x cubed. So like we said, okay, it becomes x, the 3 becomes the numerator, and the half becomes the denominator. So it's x over half, and x, it's 3 divided by 1/2, which is same as 3 over 1 divided by 1/2, which is same as 3 over 1 times 2 over 1, which is same as 6 over 1, which is the same as 6. So actually, this here is the same as x to the power 6, which is exactly the same as the first one. Now this first one was x to the power 7. This one is x to the power 6. So we're going to do d dx. Let me change color here. Now it's fine. Now let me change it. So that's x to the power 6. So again, multiply by the 6 and then subtract 1 from the power. And then it's 6x to the power 5 is the answer. Okay, so that's it for differentiation. This should help.